Hi everyone, I just wrapped up an amazing interview with Juan Barreneche over at Gold Bar Team, CEO of the Gold Bar Team. The really cool thing about this interview is that we're both the same age, we're both 28, we both run and own our own companies, and it's really cool to hear how he got to where he is today, starting out $6,000 per year in his first year of real estate and then getting to $250,000 towards the end of his second year. We're going to talk about how he did that and all of the ingredients to how he created what he did. Before we get into that, I'm just going to remind you that all of my information is in the description. I'm also going to put Juan's information down there, his Instagram handle if you want to get in touch with him, but also his website. And as you guys know, there is a link to a free discovery call with me if you're interested in coaching, along with some other tools and resources for you guys to utilize. So let's go ahead and check it out.
My name is Juan Barreneche. I am born and raised out of Queens, New York, and I got into real estate around the age of 23 years old. I had no intention of getting into real estate. However, I was kind of drawn into this path when I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. The more I started going down the whole financial literacy journey, I realized that my parents weren't really the best educators at teaching me how to invest and build wealth. So I had to go out there and get that financial literacy myself. And I just saw real estate as an asset that could continue to grow and grow and grow to the point where it could make you financially free and then you could pass it on to other generations. So I got started in real estate back in 2016. I got my license with Keller Williams Real Estate. I think it was May of 2016 to be exact. And then from May of 2016 till the end of the year, I worked 80-hour weeks. I went out there and knocked on doors. I made cold calls. I did anything beneath the sun imaginable to go out there and generate some business. And I only ended up making $6,000 that year. So I had an option beginning of 2017. I take all the money and I run and I go get a corporate job like most of the people that I started out with. Or I get to that point where I reinvest everything back into a coach and I really do it the right time the second time around. And I chose the latter. I invested in an incredible coach. His name was Sean Kokoska. He was the president of MAPS Coaching International for KW at the time. And Sean taught me everything that I knew in regards to building a business, how to go out there and generate good lead sources, how to do events, how to network with people locally, and how to just go out there and be a top producer. But he was also guiding me on how to build a team at the same time. So we got to the point in 2018 where I was making enough money. I won the double gold award with KW. And I realized that, you know what, I think I got the hang of this. Let me go out there and build my brokerage. And I kind of took that as a launch pad to get a punch in the face in business 101. Because no one told me that when you start your own business, you have these things called expenses, and expenses tend to add up pretty quickly over time. So that lasted for about 90 days. Went back to KW, very humbled. But then I started realizing that there was this calling for me to go out there and expand. And then I got introduced to the eXp Realty platform. I think it was around April of 2018 or May of 2018. And I decided to jump on board. I said, listen, what do I have to lose if this thing flops? And I think I have a lot to gain if it doesn't. And I've been with them ever since. I've grown my entire group at eXp to over 1,300 agents. I get paid on more than 600 transactions a month. My personal team did 85 million in sales last year. Our goal is to do $250 million this year. And we're actively growing. We're looking to partner with top agents all throughout the world who want to build their brand, build wealth from themselves and their families, and really just provide a better value overall to their clients.
That's incredible. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. There is a lot.
That's the short version, by the way.
I was going to say there's a lot going in that story and I've got a lot of questions, but for the sake of time, I'm going to kind of go right to, that's crazy. Your first year, you made 6,000. Your second year, you made 250,000. You're going to have to tell me a little bit more of what happened in between then and what kept you going. Because most people, after they work for a full year and only make $6,000 in the real estate industry, are going to be like, peace out. But you kept going.
So what ended up happening, I think the actual progression was first 6 months, I did around 6,000. Following year was 120,000. Third year was $250,000. So the progression was always, once I understood the game or once I understood how to go out there and build businesses, I kind of started progressing where I was doubling my production every single year. I think the difference was having guidance or having a roadmap in front of me of just to follow rather than going out there and throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks. And once I had that certainty in my mind, then I got rid of that fear of like, I don't know where I'm going to get my next listing. I just went out there and did the work. And I think that's where a lot of people are kind of going wrong with this. They're trying to avoid the work and do everything else. That's that secret hack, that TikTok that's going to go viral and get them tons of clients, or that Facebook ad that's going to make them money in their sleep. When in reality, if you look at every successful agent across America, they're all doing one thing, and they're working really, really hard at income producing activities.
Yeah. That, and I mean, you mentioned something huge. Is like you ended up getting that guidance. You ended up getting a coach. You invested in yourself. Can you tell me a little more about that? Because I think that's another piece to which people miss is like, it does take an investment, not just money, but also like time and energy. And I think just the nature of this business makes people feel like, I have to do this alone, and almost defiancy in a way, like, no, I'm going into this because I want to do this alone. I have something to prove and this and that. And when you get past that and you ask for help and you reach out and you invest, it sounds like that was a turning point for you.
So it's kind of interesting you mentioned that, because I tell everyone that the downfall of every entrepreneur is their ego. Heck, it was the downfall of Rome and any major empire throughout the last 1,000 years. So it's just one of those things where your ego is kind of the thing that gets you into this business, but it's also the thing that hurts you the most. And year one for me, it was all about my ego saying, I could go out there and sell. I could go out there and get listings. I'm up with these people that are doing this part-time and they're not taking this serious. I'm this young hotshot and I've had sales training and I know what to go out there and do. And I had this short-term mindset that I was trying to go out there and convert everyone from being just a regular homeowner to a client. And real estate doesn't work that way. Most people you come across, almost 99%, don't need to buy or sell in the near given future. So when I kind of changed that perspective and said, okay, let me go out there and get a coach, the first thing he taught me was, Juan, you have to start changing your perspective on this. Instead of looking at this from a 12-month plan, make it a 5 or a 10-year plan. And how many people can you meet over the next 5 years that'll give you business 10 years from now? And that little mind shift alone now kind of started changing my viewpoint in terms of, I'm not going to go out there and just focus on closing my next deal. I'm going to go out there and focus on building relationships.
Right. And that connection too. And I like that you mentioned that, your coach first taught you how to change your perspective, because how much of this game is mindset?
I would say it's 90%.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible. Yeah. And the remainder is performance, but really everything that you need, you have right here with you, and you have the ability to reach out. You have the ability to go ahead and get what it is that you need. So how were you able to obtain the coach that you needed? How did you find the space, the ability to be able to invest in yourself? Because I know that's a big thing for a lot of real estate agents, either in the business is like lack of funds, or getting into the business, saving up funds to go full time. What are your suggestions and what are your recommendations in that category?
So it's funny, the way I found my coach at the time, I was at the gym and I was listening to a podcast called Super Agents Live by Toby Salgado. And I forgot which episode it was, but he was interviewing Sean Kokoska on how Sean built multiple 7-figure businesses in real estate by leveraging his fear, his skills, his experience, everything on that side. So I was listening to the podcast and I was like, I want to be like this guy. This guy sounds awesome. He has a mortgage company. He has a title company. He's a coach. He has his own team. He's kind of got it all figured out. So I found my person that I aspired to be like. And then simply put, I got his assistant's phone number. I cold called her. I said, listen, you don't know me through a hole in the wall. My name's Juan. I'm 24 years old. I'm from New York. And I will pay Sean whatever he wants so I could coach with him. Now, I'm still biting those words to this day because he charged me a lot of money, but it was worth every single dollar. But I did get access to him. I think he had one spot left in his entire coaching program because he was actually leaving KW at the time to start his own company. And when I got involved kind of on that level, I never realized what coaching actually was. Coaching, I wish I had sunglasses or sunglasses in front of me, but coaching is basically taking the glasses you're wearing now and swapping them from a different lens so that you can see life in a different way. But that's all he did. Like I was still on that path. I was working hard. I had initiative, but all he did was change the glasses on me. And then I realized, oh, wow, I've been going this direction the whole time. I just have to go right here. And that confidence alone was worth every single dollar that allowed me to go out there and make 6 figures my second year.
Yeah. It's cool. It's interesting that you say that because myself as a coach, a lot of clients come to me and they're like, I want to do what you did. I'm like, yeah, that's cool because I'm me and you're you though. And it's very, very different. They think I'm going to give them this secret ingredient as to like how to become this person when really we're going to dig deep and we're going to take everything that you know, we're going to shift it and make it look something different and better in a way that's going to help you move forward the best way possible for you. So it's nice to hear you confirm that that worked for you. And that's exactly what is supposed to happen, because some people think it's going to be very tangible when it's actually very intangible. So as you work through those 2 years and then with your coach and everything, what were the major blocks that you kind of ran into for yourself?
The biggest block, and I was actually reviewing my coaching notes from 2 years ago, because I've had several coaches throughout the years, was that I've had really just a hard time setting boundaries. I truly believe that if you could solve the boundary issue in this business, you are at the top 10%, because when you go out there and you join this business, you're literally on call 24/7 from sellers, from buyer clients, from your broker, from agents trying to call you about listings, to people that you called earlier and now they want to call you back. And you kind of have like this little innate desire to please everyone, where if you don't pick up the phone, you automatically think you're a bad person or you're a bad realtor. And I had this little feeling within me where I was like, I need to be 24/7. And I realized after a year and a half, like, I'm working 80-hour weeks. I'm burnt out. It's not possible. So that always stuck with me. And I've still suffered that, like, to this day, where like my boundaries are way better. Like, I turn off my phone at 7:30 and I don't pick it up till like 8 the following morning. But there are times where I'll start pushing the boundaries and I'll make exceptions for people. And then I become a little bit self-aware and I'm like, I have assistance for this. I have to like leverage this off. So I'd say boundaries has been my hardest challenge throughout the years.
Yeah. Yeah. That people pleasing aspect. I went through that too. It's like always texting, always answering your phone, always available. But you had said something when we were talking and having another conversation that was really hit me, because I think getting over that probably helped you detach from the outcome, because what we always want is like, we want the outcome to get the client, close the client. We're always thinking about the outcome and we forget about the connection. We forget about ourselves in the process. We forget that our work is only as good as we are and all of that. And setting those boundaries, how did that go hand in hand? And how did detaching from the outcome make you so much more successful too?
Once you set the boundaries, you're basically establishing control in your life and your business. And then once you have control, it's a matter of kind of controlling your, I call it this like oscillating pattern, right? Where like almost your business feels like a roller coaster. So when you get started and you get an accepted offer, for example, you're ecstatic. Like you're like, I got an accepted offer. This is going to go under contract. This is going to close. And you get an accepted offer like 2 hours ago and you're already counting your commissions. And hey, if you're a realtor, you're going to go out there and buy that white BMW because everyone has the same exact one. But it's just one of those things where like this entire business is revolved around like accepted offers. After my first year, I stopped getting excited about an accepted offer. And now my excitement turned into like pending escrow, where like the more escrows I had, the more secure it was in an accepted offer. And then I knew, hey, 4 out of 5 accepted offers are going to go through, but one's always going to fail. So I'm not going to get excited about that. I'm going to get excited about pending escrows. Now I ran into title issues and I learned what title was. And I realized that, hey, 1 out of 10 contracts is going to fall through as well. So if you start getting excited about all these things, all of a sudden you're kind of setting yourself up for disappointment. And then it wasn't until literally probably like 2 years ago that I would not get excited at all until the check was in my hand. So what I was doing internally that I didn't realize was I was changing my expectation for that gratitude to be a lot more delayed, than instead of being grateful up front and then being disappointed when that deal would fall through, and most of them do, I would only be grateful once the deal closed and I was, hey, depositing the actual check at Chase. So a lot of that has to do with kind of removing yourself from the end result or whatever ends up in a transaction. And I tell everyone, if a deal comes along my way and let's say I lose $20,000, I no longer see that as a bad thing. I see it as an opportunity to learn. So instead of going out there and saying, hey, I'm going to have a fear for failure, learn to have an appreciation for failure. Learn to love failure to the point where you literally see failure as a good thing. And then at that point, well, you become like indestructible. Like no one can compete with you. Why? Because when you're going out there and failing, you're happy. And then when you do go out there and close, well, you're happy as well. So it's almost like your mood is independent of the outcome. And that's been my little hack to basically be like a master at business.
Yes. Yes. That's so important. Your mood is independent of the outcome because your life doesn't change. You're still you, right? And it sounds like what you did subconsciously was like, learn how to appreciate the journey and enjoy the journey, because this world can be really fun and we can get really high highs, really low lows. And that's always what this business is going to be. But where does your mood stand? Does it go with it? And really, you can't give your energy to the business. Like you have to let it like coincide. And that's awesome. That's really awesome. I want to go back to the boundaries thing, because I know in my audience, and I know a lot of people listening are probably really like, how the heck did he do that? How did he set boundaries? How did he go about that? So can you tell everybody like what practices you set in place and what that process looked like for you? And you said you're still moving through it. I think it's always going to be an ever evolving process for everybody. So that's important to note. But some of the things in which you incorporated in your life to help you with that.
So it all started out with getting the right coaches for the right part of my life. To this day, I still have around 4 or 5 coaches that I pay for consulting and for advice to kind of help me get to the next level. And my first coach, which was Sean, was my business coach. He kind of taught me the macroeconomics of the real estate journey. The next coach I hired was Kevin Ward. Paid him a lot of money to go out there and teach me the micro side of the business. He taught me about NLP. He taught me about how to connect with buyers and sellers. He taught me how to go out there and cold call, convert for sub-by owners. So there's the micro side of the business, and then there's the macro. If you want to be a successful agent, you need to learn both. Once I kind of mastered the business side of things, I started getting coaching for psychology and sales. I wanted to learn like the deep roots of what to do to go out there and really change people's perspective when it comes to how they see things. And for that, I hired Rene Rodriguez, which I believe is one of the best in the world. I went to 2 of his events. I had him as a private coach, and he's really changed my perspective on how to go out there and sell, leveraging psychology. And then once I kind of figured that out, and I was kind of, I'll call it this machine for sales, right? I could go out there and I felt like I could sell ice to an Eskimo. Yes. I realized that I wasn't working on the personal development side of me. And what I lacked at the time was empathy. What I lacked at the time was building relationships with humans, not just to sell them something, but to actually feel and connect with them. And then I hired this coach named Ashton, who I consider my life coach, who really helped me when it comes to boundaries and making me self-aware. So I think it all starts with self-awareness. If you are self-aware that you have an issue, it makes it a lot easier to tackle that issue and actually make changes every single day that will get you to that point that will allow you to make a change in your life versus ignoring the issue, or worse, allowing your ego to tell yourself you don't have an issue. So I've been self-aware for the last 2 or 3 years. And even though I'm very self-aware, it's still hard, but it's way easier for me to make a change in my life, knowing that I have to go out there and put the work in. And I go out there and I try once a week to meditate, and I try to go out there and do yoga, and I try to do things that will allow me to kind of ease my mind so that I have more focus throughout the day, so that when something does happen where I need to lay the rock and say, hey, no more, like I'm going to stop this right here. You can't cross this line. I'm not available past this time. Or maybe just even turning off my phone, I have more control to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like that inner healing really kind of guided you there. And the life coaching aspect of it sounds like
the life coaching was the best out of everything, because your business is a direct reflection of your personal life. So.
Right. Exactly. And so you're a really busy guy. Like you're up there at this point, like you're really doing the damn thing. You're going to Florida, New York, you're going to Vegas. I see you out there like traveling all over the place. And that's another question I have for you. How do you manage that? Like, how do you manage the anxiety, the stress, the overwhelm, the imbalance, and not getting burnt out? Because I do have a lot of clients that come to me and they're like, Lauren, I'm burnt out. How do I get my life back? They're like, in this industry, it can take a lot from you. How do you handle that?
So I would say lifestyle by design, to kind of go ahead and paraphrase that. I don't suffer from anxiety or stress or overwhelming feelings because I enjoy everything I do. So that trip to Vegas was very fun because I went out there and I established my team, and I met my partner, and we had a photo shoot, and I went to awesome restaurants. We went to the casino, we went fun experiences, we went hiking. So I didn't really relate that trip to stress. And this week I'm going to Miami for business. I'm hanging out with my friends, Cyrus and Sam, but we're discussing business as well, and how can we start up new ventures and things like that. And so I kind of combined my entire business life with my personal life. And when I did that kind of like hybrid mix, I realized that if you're going to be stressed in business, you're also going to be stressed in your personal life. So why not ever be stressed anywhere? And I kind of just went ahead and established the mentality that if something is stressing me in business, I need to fix it. And the first thing you could do to kind of get rid of that stress is, number 1, detach yourself from the outcome. But number 2, stop taking things personally. There is going to be a time when a client is going to go out there and try to piss you off just for the sake that they're going through something internally. And you have to be that scapegoat to kind of handle all of that pressure at that given moment. And if you could be that person, and instead of reciprocating hate or reciprocating anger, you reciprocate love, you will literally cool them down like a hot fire, and you're the fire extinguisher. So I truly believe that if you just go out there and you don't take anything personally and you detach yourself from the outcome, you're not going to suffer from stress. You're not going to suffer from anxiety. I was telling my sister the other day, I haven't been stressed in like 3 years. Like, people do not piss me off. Little things piss me off. Like if I drop the remote controller and it breaks, I'll be pissed off at that. I don't know why, but if a human being comes up to me and like punches me in the face, I'll be like, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, did your girlfriend break up with you? Did someone die? Like, I just have such a different perspective when it comes to humans, that because I understand them so well, I would say I don't really suffer from the burnout. And then the best part is, if I do feel we'll call it physically or emotionally stressed, I've designed my business where I can take a 2-week vacation that would allow me to go out there and reset.
Right. Right. So it really sounds like you mastered that, like work-life balance. That's pretty cool. How did you find the confidence to get to that place? I know a lot of people, they struggle with confidence in this industry, and that type of thing takes confidence to not take what people say personally, to be able to go up to, a multi-million-dollar homeowner and approach them and talk to them. Those things are hard for a lot of people in this industry. How did you build yourself to that point?
It's very simple. It's just make a decision to do so. So it all starts with a choice. And that choice is to stop caring about what other people think about you. When you stop caring about other people's opinions, you will go up to that multi-million-dollar listing and just ask for the business. You will go take that trip that other people may question. Well, what if you're traveling too much? Or how are you working? Or what are your clients going to say? The second you stop caring, you start realizing that most people never cared to begin with. Humans have so many problems going on in their lives that the last thing they're looking at is in your life, to go out there and think about your life 24/7 and your problems 24/7. So that, once again, it's all back to the ego, right? Our ego is so big that we think we have 10,000 followers on Instagram, all obsessed with our lives more than they are theirs. But in reality, the only people's lives we think about is ourselves.
Right. Right. And you're pretty big. You have a pretty big presence on social media, and you put stuff out there on social media. You get on stage and stuff like that. Was all that easy for you the whole time? Like,
it's never easy, but I'll put it this way. When I was 23, so I'll go back all the way to the beginning. Like, I suffered from anxiety back when I was like 12 years old up until we'll call it 22. Right. And I kind of have like this entire warrior within me, because anxiety to me was like nothing worse in the world than you going out there and having a panic attack, right? Panic attack to me was like hell on earth. And I think I've been through probably like 300 panic attacks in my life from the ages of 20 to 21. Wow. So I kind of had that mental resistance, and I realized panic attacks are a choice. Like, you could decide to live in fear, or you could decide to go deep down to the root and really tackle, why am I having this and how do we come up with a solution? So I'm not saying that nothing scares me in life, but I've been through that mental hell. Well, I've kind of surpassed it. And I know if I could surpass that, I could surpass anything. And just kind of coming back to your question over here, I truly do think that we all have the decision to live our lives the way we want to. And a lot of that is mental. So if you want to go out there and take that trip and you're just too concerned about what's going to happen, well, ask yourself, why are you concerned? And maybe if it's a partner, or maybe it's your following and what they're going to think, you kind of just have to ask yourself, at the end of the day, why did I build my Instagram to begin with? Is it so that I could go out there and care about why people are judging me? Or is it so I could go out there and connect with the 10 or 15% of people that do care about me, and we could build relationships and we could work on this together? So I think Instagram, if done in the right way, and social media platforms, if done in the right way, you could have 100,000 followers, but your impact is going to be felt if you just touch, I say, 1,000 of them. And I think that's the key. It's to go out there and not try to please everyone, but to please the people that have the same culture and values as you do.
Yeah. You're a corner of the world. And I think you mentioned something really important. Like, you reached your breaking point, like you broke, and that's what you're supposed to do. I think people really think that we're supposed to be so perfect in this world and we're supposed to move so perfectly. It's like, no, you're supposed to break into a million pieces, and then you're supposed to put them back in the way that you were meant to be, because now you get to decide. And it sounds like you stepped into your power and you put it back piece by piece, how you wanted it to look this time around. And I think that's what created your life. And that's the point of real estate. Like, you don't have to endure life anymore. You create it now with this career. I think that's what makes it so beautiful. So my next question would be, knowing this is an ever evolving process, career, and there's always going to be struggles. What is something you're working on right now? What is something you're struggling with right now?
So I would say the thing I'm struggling with right now are bottlenecks in my business. We are at a point where we are truly blessed, where we're actually recruiting way too many agents to our team. And a lot of people don't kind of look at this perspective, but there's always two sides to business. There's the front end, which is marketing and sales. And then there's the back end, which is operations and servicing. And if you go out there and you're recruiting 60, 80, 100 agents a month, like we are, you have to have the right systems in place to onboard them, answer their questions, train them, hold them accountable, and help them out with their marketing. And we're at that point where we're actually scaling too fast. So it's a good problem to have. I never complain about it because, hey, I kind of built this the way I wanted it to. But now we're just at that point where we're kind of taking a step back and saying, okay, how can we recalibrate? How can we bring on the right staff and the right people to kind of help us out with the current situation we have? And then how do we set it up so that we're not looking at this like a race? We're looking at this like a marathon, right? This is a 5-year plan. I have a 4-year plan to get to 10,000 agents. I know I'm going to get there if I just keep at this pace, but I have to realize, do I want to get there where I'm basically falling to the floor and I can't breathe and I'm burnt out and I'm ready to give up? Or do I want to get there, like literally waving my hands in the air saying, I made it. This is it. This is awesome. So it's just a different approach. And hey, if that means us growing slower than the pace that we're on right now, it's okay. So I would say that's probably the biggest challenge.
Right, right. Is there anything personally you're working on, like anything within your mental growth and any of your blocks?
I would say from the personal side, it's about becoming as emotionally vulnerable with myself and with others as possible. I struggled a lot with this when I was younger because when I got into business, I realized the way to be a very good business person was to, once again, emotionally detach yourself from a situation and also not take anything personally. And when you do that at a very high level, 24/7, you kind of become numb to building relationships and connections with others. And I suffered in that when it came to my family, my friends, my personal relationships, because I kind of became like this real estate machine and I would speak real estate 24/7. And we all know those people. And if you look at my Instagram now, you kind of won't find real estate like anywhere. Like I'm just being me. I love to travel. I love to connect. I love to talk personal development. I love to meditate. I love to do yoga. I love going on experiences. And I've kind of just evolved into this person where I understood that most people can't connect with you when it comes to business because you're only going to connect with what, 1% of the population?
Right.
But 99% can if you're talking about anything that has to do with empathy and understanding and impact and helping others and things that have much higher purpose. So I would say right now, I've evolved from an emotionally vulnerable perspective that is much greater than, I guess, where I was 2 years ago, but I still want to improve that to the point where I could meet someone out of thin air and just feel closer to them and they could feel closer to me than someone they've met maybe that they've known for like 10 years, like I want to get to like that level of intimacy.
That's so cool. And even when you can, I always say that, like whenever you watch, like I love Matthew McConaughey. So when I watch him, I feel like I know him and I'm like, how can I do that?
He's my favorite actor, like straight up. Interstellar is the best movie. And like, he's just such like you could just tell he loves what he does,
That's what I mean. He's so passionate. I was just holding up. I was like talking about his book, Green Lights, earlier. And I'm just like, you just have no idea, like that, the passion inside this guy, the authenticity, the genuinity. But like you said, it's like always trying to open up, open your heart, open your body and everything. Because I mean, I was trained the same way. It's like, these people are not your friends. You move forward with business. It's numbers, numbers, numbers. And then I was like, something is not right in my heart. My bank account's right. My investments look good. Everything looks great. But my heart my spirit was a little like depleted. So like you said, when I started opening that up, I was like, wait, hold on. Everything's brighter. Everything's more beautiful. And you start opening channels that you didn't even know were there. It's cool to make money. It's cool for all of that. But really, the main piece of it is like connecting with people and being yourself. And I think that is the ultimate challenge that we have to face day after day after day.
Yeah. And you're going to find millionaires and even billionaires that like have all the money in the world, but they're missing exactly what you just described, that happiness and that bliss that comes from within, from being a servant and helping others. So I think you're spot on.
Yeah. Serve, don't sell. I mean, that it's cool to say it out loud, but when you really embody it, it's like your life actually changes. So I think that's really cool. Well, my last question today is, for everybody that's listening, what is your biggest piece of advice for anybody that's in the industry or getting into the industry and wants to grow exponentially in the business?
I'm going to think about this one because there's like so many ways I could go, but I would say, I would say take the road that is the hardest and the most obvious. So as soon as you get into the business, you're getting 15 different coaches and mentors and trainers and gurus giving you advice on what to do. And you have one guy preaching marketing, another person's preaching going out there and prospecting, another woman's preaching going out there and doing Facebook ads, and everyone's kind of giving you like their shortcut to success. When in reality, deep down, the only thing that's going to help you sell more real estate is to go out there and speak to 5 people a day and go out there and build relationships with these 5 people a day and nurture them for the next 3, 4, 5 years until they call you with a referral. That's real estate 101. Why? Because if we do that, that's going to get to the point where you're speaking to 20, 25 people a week. That's 100 a month. That's 1,200 a year. After 5 years, you have a database of 5,000 people. You convert just 1% of them. That's 50 transactions. And if each transaction is worth 10, 20K a year, you're almost a 7-figure agent. You're a multiple 6-figure agent. It's so simple, yet we realize, wow, that involves a lot of work. and I don't want to do work. So let me go out there and figure something else. And let me try this TikTok thing. But in reality, every single successful agent out there has done the work. And that's the one thing I wish I knew earlier on, that instead of me going out there and trying to find shortcuts for about 18 months, I should have just picked up the phone call, built relationships with 5 people a day, every single day. And those people to this day would have kept feeding me. And I started a little bit late, and I'm still in a very good place because I have a database of, I think, 15,000 people. But the thing is, I get referrals on autopilot. I'm out of production. I don't really focus on sales anymore. But if I didn't go out there and prospect or nurture or did anything for the rest of my life, I'm pretty sure I'd get like 1 or 2 referrals a week. It's just kind of like that automated.
Right. And I always say that, like, you want to get to the point where your business runs itself, but that's why I always say, like, be yourself and go out there and be authentic, because that's how you connect with people. And it's cool that you're seeing that and you're putting it into practice. And like you said, you wish you knew it sooner, because that is where you want to be. It's like, forget about it. After that, it's like, it just turns on its own. So that's really cool. Well, thank you so much, Juan. Really, like, I think you really nailed it. Everything that everybody needs to know to become what they want to be is like right in here. And thank you for coming. And I appreciate everything that you had to say today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. What I would say is, I just want to kind of flip it back on you. I think the entire kind of like summary of this podcast is that if you want to go out there and get to your goals faster, hiring the right coach is going to expedite that journey way faster. How can people find you and really kind of leverage what you've built with real estate coaching and personal development to get to their goals faster, just so that people understand that you're accessible and that you're taking on clients and you want to help them?
Yeah, absolutely. And every client that I work with, I mean, they see results, because what we do is exactly what you and I talked about. We focus on the mindset, we shift the mindset, we find the blocks, and we manage those blocks and get rid of those blocks. So if anybody wants to find me, you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, podcast, Lauren Plant. Lauplant is my Instagram, Lauplante. And that's the best way to connect with me, because that's where you get to see me and all of the work that I do and all of the words that I speak. And if we connect and vibe. And what I typically do is I set up a free discovery call with a client. And that's a really good way for us to connect and see if, it's a good fit. And if right now is a good time for coaching for you, and how to move forward and set goals and move forward with our coaching program for you.
I love, and then if anyone's on that verge of kind of saying like, should I do coaching now or should I wait? Just understand you should always have a coach at every single part of your life. I have friends and I have mentors that are paying $1 million a year for their coach, and they make all the money in the world, and they're always out there improving themselves and their skills. So if you're thinking about hiring Lauren, like, don't double think it. Like, she's great. She can help you get to your goals faster. Whatever you pay her, you will get an ROI on. And if anyone wants free training or courses in education, I'm not a personal coach, so I never do one-on-one coaching, but I do have courses and training out there that can help you get to your goals faster. Reach out to me on Instagram, TikTok, any platform out there. It's at Juan, Juan, Gold Bar.
Wow. That was awesome. Tell me Juan didn't lay it out so perfectly, everything that he did and how he got to where he got to today. It was amazing to hear him talk about the ways in which he struggled and how he overcame them, how to set boundaries and how to detach from the outcome. Those are 2 major blocks to overcome in the real estate industry. Very important, and I'm so happy that he touched on those and shared how he was able to move through those. And I really want to stress the important takeaway, I think, of today's interview, which is, I say it time and time again, a lot of my success is because of my therapist and my coach that I've had throughout my life. And you heard Juan say it too. He has many, many coaches in different areas of his life, because he's not afraid to ask for help, and he's not afraid to invest his money in the help that he needs for whatever area he may be lacking. And that's the point of, collaborating or becoming a better self, is working together with somebody else who may not be able to see what you can see, who can help you reach your goals and help you become the person that you want to be. Ultimately, it is you, but it is important to reach out to somebody who can guide you there. So again, you guys know I'm a coach. You can always reach out to me. A link to my free discovery call is down in the description. If you're interested, if you have more questions, send me an email. My email is also in the description, or send me a message on Instagram. All of Juan's information is in the description as well if you'd like to get in touch with him. If this content is helpful for you guys at all, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, share with friends. If you're on podcasts, give it a review. Everything is helpful so I can reach more people, help more people, and get this cool, awesome information out to others that can hopefully help and inspire other people. So, as always, good luck.